2 Shemuel chapter 14. Wayed'a Yoab ben Thuruyah Kileb Hamelech ala Shalom. And Joab knew, Joab the son of Thuruyah, that the heart of the king was over Abshalom. Wayishlach Joab Tekoah. And Joab sent to Tekoah. Wayikah Mitham Itha Hakamah. And he took from there a wise woman. Wayomer Eleha. And he said to her, Hithahabelina Willibashina Bigadehebel. Make thou thyself to mourn now, and clothe thou now in garments of mourning. Wahalatasuki Shemen. And thou shalt not anoint with oil. Wahayit kehitha the yamim rabbim mitahabelet alamet. And thou shalt be like a woman this many days, mourning about over a dead one. Wabat Elahamelech. And thou shalt come to the king with Ibarta Helau Kadabar Hadha. And thou shalt word to him like this word. Wayashem Yoab et Hadavarim befiha. And Joab set the words in her mouth. Watomer ha'itha hatqo'it Elahamelech. And the Teko'ite woman did speak to the king. Watipola ala harsha watishatahu. And she fell upon her noses to the ground, and she did bow as to worship. Watomer Hoshea Hamelech. And she said, Save thou, O king. Wayomer Allah Hamelech Mahalach. And the king said to her, What for thee? Watomer. And she said, Aval Ithalmanani Wayamotahishi. Surely a widow woman I am, and my man hath died. Ulashipahatakat nevanim Wayenathuthanehem bashad Wen mathil benehem Wayako haehad et haehad Wayametoto. And for thy handmaid 2 sons, and they struggled the 2 of them in the field, and there was not one delivering between them. And the one smote the one, and he killed him. Wehine qama kol hamishpaha al shiphataka. And behold, all the family arose over thy handmaid. Wayohmaru. And they said, Tani et makeachiu. Give thou the striker of his brother. Unamitehu benefesh achiu atraharag. And we would kill him for the soul of his brother which he slew. Unashemida gama et hayoreth. And we would destroy also the heir. Wikibu et gahalata Libility atra nishara, and they would snuff out my coal which remaineth. Libility shimeli shishem usherit alpene hadama, for not to set a name for my man and a remnant upon the face of the ground. Wayomer hamelech elahayitha, and the king said to the woman, Lechi lebetek, go thou to thy house. Wahani athawe alayik, and I shall give command concerning thee. Watomer haitha hatqo'it elahamelech, and the Teqo'it woman said to the king, Alai Adoni Hamelech He'awon, Wa'al Bet Abi, Wa'hamelech W'chisoho Naqi. Upon me, O Lord the king, the iniquity, and upon the house of my father, and the king and his throne be innocent. Wayomer Hamelech, and the king said, Hamdaber Helaich, Wahaveto Helai, Welo Yosif Od, Lagat Bach. And the king said, the one wording to thee, also thou shalt bring him to me, and he shall not add any longer to approach to thee. Watomer yidhkor nahamelech et Yahweh Eloheka, and she said, let now the king remember Yahweh thy God. Meharabat goel hadam l'shahet, from the avenger of the blood multiplying to destroy. V'lo yashemidu et beni, and let them not destroy my son. Vayomer Yahweh im yepol misha'arat benek arshah, and he said, as Yahweh liveth, if should fall from the hair of thy son to the ground. Watomer ha'itha, and the woman said, Tadaberna shipahataka elhadoni hamelech dabar. Let now thy handmaid word to my lord the king a word. Wayomer daberu, and he said, word thou. Watomer ha'itha, and the woman said, Walamah hashavna kadot ala am Elohim, and for what hast thou devised like this over the people of God? Umidaber hamelech hadavar hadeh kathim lebilati hathi bahamelech et nidho. And from the king's wording this word, like a culpability, for not the king's returning his banished one. Ki mot namut, because dyingly we die. Uchamayim hanigarim harsha atarlo yehasepu, and like the waters, the ones poured out to the ground, which shall not be gathered. And God lifteth not up a soul. Wahashab mahashabot lebilati yiddah mimenu niddah, and he shall devise devisings, so that the banished one be not banished from him. وعطى أتربهتي لدبر إلهم ملك هدوني اتهدى هذا كي يروني هام. And now that I have come to word to the king, my lord, this word, because the people, they frightened me. وَتُهْمَرَ شِفَهَاتَكَ, and thy handmaid said, Adabrana Elham Melech, I would word now to the king. Ulai Yasha Hamelech et Devarahamato, perhaps the king shall effectuate the word of his handmaid or servant. Ki Yishma Hamelech Lahasil et Hamato Mikapahaish, because the king might hear to deliver his servant from the palm of the man. Lahashemid oti we'etbeni yahad, to destroy me and my son together. Min nahalat Elohim, from the inheritance of God. وَتُؤْمِرْ شِفَهَاتَكَ يِهْيَ نَهْدْ بَرْهَدُونِ هَمَّلْكَ لِمْنُوحَا, and thy handmaid said, Let now the word of my lord the king be for a rest. Ki kamalaka ha Elohim ken hadoni hamelech lishmoa hatov wahara wa Yahweh Eloheka yahi immak, because like the messenger of the God, thus my lord the king is, to hear the good and the evil, and Yahweh thy God, let him be with thee. وَيَغْنَ هَمَّلَكَ, and the king responded, وَيَوْمَرَ al haitha, and he said to the woman, Al nahtakahadi mimeni dabar, thou shalt not conceal from me a word. Atrahano ki shoel hotak, which I am one asking thee. وَتُؤْمِرْ هَائِثَا, and the woman said, يَدَبَّرْنَا أَدُونِي هَمَّلْكَ, let my lord the king word now. وَيُؤْمِرْ هَمَّلْكَ هَيَدْ يُوهَابِ إِتَّاكَ بِكُلِّ دُوتَ, and the king said, Is it that the hand of Joab is with thee in all this? وَتَغْنَ هَائِثَا وَتُؤْمِرْ Henapshaka Hadoni Hamelech Imhishlehemin Ula Hashamil Mikol Atar Diber Hadoni Hamelech. And the woman responded, and she said, As thy soul liveth, O my lord the king, if a man is for to go right or to go left from all which my lord the king hath worded. Ki abdaka Yoab hu thiwani, because thy servant Joab, he commanded me. Who sham befi shifahataka et kol hadvarim hael, and he set in my mouth, in the mouth of thy handmaid, all these words. Leva'avur sabev et pene hadavar, Asha abdaka Yoab et hadavar hadeh, for the sake of to turn about the faces of the word, thy servant Joab hath effectuated this word. Wadoni hakam kahokamata malahaka ha Elohim la da'at et kol atrabar. And my Lord is wise, like the wisdom of the messenger of God, to know all which is in the earth. Wayomer Hamelech el Yoab. And the king said to Joab, Hinne nahashiti et hadavar hadeh. Behold, now I have effectuated this word. Velech hatheb et hanar et habshalom. And go thou, return thou the lad, Abshalom. Vayipol Yoab el panaiwa arshah vayishtahu. And Joab fell to his faces to the ground, and he bowed down as to worship. Vayavarech et hamelech. And he blessed the king. Vayomer Yoab hayom yada avdaka ki matahti hen be'enaka adoni hamelech atra asha hamelech et devar avdaka. And he said, Joab did, Today thy servant hath known that I have found favor in thy eyes, O my lord the king, that the king hath effectuated the word of thy servant. Vayakom Joab vayelech Geshura. And Joab arose, and he went to Geshur. Vayaveh et Abshalom Yerushalem. And he brought Abshalom to Jerusalem. Vayomer Hamelech Yisob el Beto. And the king said, Let him turn to his house. Upanai lo yireh. And my faces let him not see. Vayisob Abshalom el Beto. And Abshalom turned to his house. Upene Hamelech lo ra. And the faces of the king he saw not. Abshalom lo haya ish yafe b'kol Yisrael lehalel mod. And like Abshalom, there was not a man handsome or beautiful in all Yisrael to praise exceedingly. Mikafaragalo wa'ad kodo lo haya mum. From the sole of his foot and as far as his crown, there was not in him a blemish. Ubegalho et rosho. And in his shaving his head, Wahaya miqeth yamim layamim atr ki kaved alai wigilho. And it was from the end of days to days, when he would shave, because it was heavy upon him, and he would shave it. Withaqal et thgar rosho mahataim thaqalim be'ebn hamelech. And he would weigh the hair of his head 200 thaqalim by the stone of the king. Vayewaladu le'Abshalom thaloth abanim uvat ahat ushemah Tamar. And there were begotten for Abshalom 3 sons and 1 daughter, her name Tamar. He hayata ithayafat mara. She was a woman beautiful of appearance. Vayeth Abshalom B'Yerushalem Shnataim Yamim Upnei HaMelech Lo Hara. And Abshalom dwelt in Jerusalem 2 years of days, and the faces of the king he saw not. Vayishlach Abshalom el Yoab, and Abshalom sent to Joab, Lishaloh oto el HaMelech, to send him to the king. V'lo hava lavo elau, and he did not will to come to him. Vayishlach od thenit, and he sent yet again, a second time. V'lo hava lavo, and he willed not to come. Vayomer el avadai rahu helakat Yoab el yadi v'lo tham she'orim leku v'hathitu havaesh. And he said to his servants, See ye the portion of Joab to my hand, that is near me, and for him there is barley. Go ye, and set ye it alight by fire. Vayathitu avdei Abshalom et ha'helakah ba'esh, and the servants of Abshalom set it alight by the fire, that is the portion. Vayakom Yoab, and Joab arose. Vayavo el Abshalom habayata, and he came to Abshalom to the house. Vayomer elau, and he said to him, Lama hithitu avadaka et hahalaka atarali ba'esh. For what have thy servants set the portion which is for me on fire, by means of fire? Vayomer Abshalom el Yoab, Hinne shalachti elecha lemor bohenna ve'eshelcha otaka el HaMelech lemor lamah bahati migshur tovali od anitam. وعطاهر بني هملك وهم يشبي عون وهميتاني. And Abshalom said to Joab, Behold, I had sent to thee, saying, Come thou here, and I would send thee to the king, saying, For what have I come from Geshur? Good for me, yet I being there. And now I would see the faces of the king, and if there be in me iniquity, also let him put me to death. Vayavo Joab el HaMelech, and Joab came to the king. Vayaged the law, and he told to him. Vayiqrah el Abshalom, Vayavo el HaMelech, and he called to Abshalom, and he came to the king. Vayishtahu lo ala ha'paywa harshah, and he bowed down as to worship to him, upon his noses to the ground, lifnei HaMelech, before the king. Vayishaq HaMelech l'Abshalom, and the king kissed to Abshalom.